Okay, welcome back to the next concept on Bernoulli trials. This is where we start to get into very specific scenarios whereby the concept of discrete random variables can be applied to real life context. Okay, so a Bernoulli trial is a very specific kind of experiment. So specific kind of experiment where the outcome is a discrete random variable. Okay, so I'm just going to write here where the outcome is a specific kind of discrete random variable, which is going to be the focus for this whole chapter really until the end. So this whole Bernoulli trial concept is going to be what you're going to be dealing with very, very frequently throughout this chapter. So what is Bernoulli trial, right? How does it look like? It's basically an experiment with only two outcomes. So when I say outcome, right, Bernoulli trial, which is an experiment, is an experiment with only two possible outcomes. Okay, and these two possible outcomes are our success or failure. So in other words, my discrete random variable, so let's say I let x be the discrete random variable. Okay, just a shortcut, discrete random variable. X, if I draw the probability table, can only take on two possible values, success or failure only, right? Can only take on two possible values, and then they have their associated probability, like for example something like that, right? But just take note that when we say success or failure, right, there are, for example, in the context of a rolling a dice, let's say rolling a dice, I can say, or the question can say, that success would be considered as you get any number below than or equals to 5. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then failure will, let's say, be anything above 5, which is 6, right? So just putting this as an example only. So in most questions, you will need to figure out what is the success condition, but it is up to you to go and figure out what's the probability of the success condition, or what constitutes a success. So let's say I roll the dice and I get a 1, right? This will be considered as success. If I roll a dice, this would be also considered a success if I get the 2. So if I draw the distribution table for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then this is the probability of x equals to x over here. I know this is divided by 6, so 1 divided by 6, this will be 1 over 6. 1 over 6, 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 1 over 6. Right? This is one way of looking at it. But in a Bernoulli trial, we don't care about whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. We only care whether it's success or failure. So through the Bernoulli trial lens, we would group this whole thing as success and this whole thing as failure, right? Which would then give rise to a secondary table, which is success, failure. And then this px equals to x. And then this will be 5 over 6, and this will be 1 over 6, like that. Okay, so Bernoulli trial is just a recap, it's just an experiment with two different possible outcomes, success or failure. So when we draw the table for this, it will just be success or failure. But the condition for success or failure usually will be quoted by the question, and it's up to you to figure out what of the outcomes of the discrete random variable fall into which group. And yeah, that's basically what a Bernoulli trial is. So this is just an introduction before we actually go through the idea of binomial distribution, which is linked to the Bernoulli trial. Okay, so let me know if you got any other questions in the comments below. Otherwise, there's no questions for this. It's just a concept introduction, and I'll see you in the next video to go through binomial distribution.